Okay, today we're playing a game on Oasis. We are in the Gold SR range, and we will be playing Moira the entire way through. Is this the Gold SR range? Let me just double check real quick. Yes, it was. Okay. I don't know why. I suddenly really psyched myself out on that one. So, we are also on the console today. So consider yourself forewarned. So, let's start the game. So, this is Garden. Yes. I don't know why I always have trouble remembering the name of this. I always feel like this is University for some reason. There's not a single book out here. What a fool I am. So, we chucked the damage orb over at the Diva. It's just the Diva, though. So, that wasn't a very good use of the orb, because there's more people to damage over here. And Diva can just eat the orb, also. Chucking the orb at Diva usually doesn't result in too terribly much. And I mean, sometimes the Divas stood with their teammates, and that's when you're truly sad while you're playing Moira. I'm just going back to see, like, you know. I don't like to fade like that. I don't like to fade to get to somebody to heal them, because, like, there's a fight going on here. You know, there's a fight happening right now, and now I don't have fade. But like, even outside that, if somebody's low health, right, like, and you fade to them, something happened to put that guy at low health, and now you're getting closer to it, and you know, damn, Torb's having a good time over there, isn't he? No, we'll be depressed. I was like, should we go back and see what Torbjorn did? Let's not. Let's not go and see what Torbjorn did. So again, I just chucked the damage orb at Diva. She's just gonna eat it, you know? Like, when there's a Diva just, like, stood with her team. Alright. You want to try and be a little bit more careful with how you throw the orb, because just chucking it straight at their Diva, it's not gonna do anything, you know? It's not gonna do anything. You pretty much, like, there is the cooldown after she uses Defense Matrix, so she can't use it, so you pretty much wait to see that, and then chuck it after she takes it down. Because she can't immediately eat it again put it back up to eat it after that. But just generally, when you're playing Moira against Diva, you're gonna be sad. It's just how it's gonna be, basically. We don't need to be spraying as much as we are right now. Yeah, we're trying to keep the regen on them, probably more than anything, but like, we chewed through a fair chunk of our resource now without actually doing any healing, because the people we were with weren't actually really taking any damage. We can hear Deadeye right now, that's why we're hiding. So we ended up going through a lot of our resource right there without actually, like, doing anything. So, right there, we did with the orb. 20 seconds is such a fucking long time. One day, I'll know these things. I zoomed past it anyway. Alright, so I'm not going to go back again. The thing we did there is we threw the orb at the ground in front of us, which you don't want to do, because as soon as you throw the orb down, it's going to immediately go back up again. And then it starts floating away from you, and that orb is now done giving you value, right? So you don't want your orb to go you always want to keep it, like, flat and horizontal. You don't want that boy going up or down. So, like, with this map, it's not easy to get it to bounce across your team multiple times, unfortunately. There's a lot of geometry going around. But rather than, like, throw at ground, you want the reaction to be, like, throw at, like, this wall. Because then, it'll at least bounce back across the point again. And at least once, right? Like, after that, it's kind of at the whim of the physics engine as to what it's gonna do. But yeah, you don't want to chuck it down or up, because then it's going to bounce away from your team, and it's done giving you value at that point. We did it again right there. Don't do that. Chuck it at a wall instead, because then it's going to bounce across your team a bunch of times. And you want that. You want that with the healing orb. The damage orb, you don't really need to put that much thought into. You just chuck it at the enemy team. That's going to be good enough. It's going to get you the full value, basically. The healing orb, you want that boy to bounce across your team a couple times. So here's the, we didn't quite get her. It was gonna be hard. So at this point, now we chucked the damage orb at them right there. At this point, we want to be a little bit more cautious with how we use the damage orb, because when you don't have coalescence built up, you do want to chuck the damage orb at the enemy team constantly, right? Because you're trying to build your ult as quickly as possible. And Moira's left click or her healing is almost always, I shouldn't say the left click because we're on the console. I should not say left click in general. Even though you almost certainly know what I mean, I should try not to do that. So her healing beam is almost always good enough, so you can just kind of chuck the damage orb at the enemy team. But once you have Coalescence built up, chucking the damage orb at the enemy team now doesn't really do anything, because you've already got your ult built up, so just chucking the damage orb at the enemy team is going to do some chip damage to them that they can heal very easily, and then their healers get some ult charge off of you throwing your damage orb in, right? We don't want that. So once you've got your ult built up, save the orb for a more specific use, which is either I need to use the healing orb, or I can kill somebody with the damage orb, right? You save it for a more specific use. It's not worth just chucking it at them once you have Coalescence built up anymore. Repetition says, guys, why are people so fucking brain dead in this game? Brother, that's all video games. I'm sorry to tell you. It's just how it's gonna be. I think we actually could have avoided that self-destruct if we, like, really hugged the wall instead, but probably better to just, Better to be safe than sorry in that kind of situation. So, we did fade back on to the point. It's pretty spooky on here. We did say this, and let me just check the email. We said something about fade in the email, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. There were a few very questionable fades on the first point. Yeah. So we will not belabor the point on the fades too much, because we knew the issue already. Again, we've already got Coalescence built up. If we're gonna use Coalescence right now, I suppose. But the problem with using Coalescence right here is our team is not really in a position to do anything with it. So, 2 of our teammates are actually dead right now while this is happening. In the email, the question in the email specifically is advice for Coalescence, and the big thing to bear in mind with Coalescence is, ideally, you're hitting 11 people with it, right? This'll never happen, right? You'll never really be in a situation where you can hit 11 people with it, but that is the hypothetical dream that we work towards when we're playing Moira, hitting 11 people with it, because we can hit everybody except ourselves. So a lot of using Coalescence is like positioning in a fight so that you can be hitting the most people with it possible on both teams. And like with this team fight, 2 of our team are already dead. Now I've got no problem with using Coalescence to initiate a team fight, because sometimes, like, you gotta get your team to move forward somehow, right? Coalescence is as good a way as any. But here, 2 of our team were dead. We were only going in with Roadhog. Like, we're only going to be hitting him and a couple people on the enemy team. It could be better, right? I would have rather had it for, like, when we're in a better position, like, after our team is regrouped, basically. At least then we'll be hitting more people on our team with it. But, yeah, we're losing this point. Yeah. Probably tell that one wasn't going to work out too well right there. So anyway, second point. This map I find is a lot better to play Moira on, basically because it's easier to do geometry. With the orb on this map, it's nice and symmetrical. There's lots of flat surface. All the King of the Hill maps are symmetrical. It's nice and flat and symmetrical. You know, there's lots of nice walls to be bouncing things off of. So, McCree did look like he was going to take a lot of damage there, so we should have been, like, preempting the spray on him a little bit, just because I was expecting that guy to take a lot of damage stood in that doorway. Generally, you want to wait till the guy starts taking damage. I was pretty sure that guy was about to be getting clapped by the people on the other end of the doorway. But it's also, like, more his fault than anybody else's, you know. So Ryan's dead. It's, oh. Hey, she's out. Is that actually gonna get anybody? Oh, it is. Okay. I wasn't sure on the math on that one, but the math checked out. So, geometry. Man, geometry's fucking hard, brother. You know, I was not good at math in school. Oh, we're all out of resource. Oh, God. So, once we are, like, this low, I didn't notice. So, once I start getting to, like, halfway on the resource bar, I'm starting to get a little bit spooked at that point, because once the fight starts, if I'm like half gauge, like that's not usually enough for like a full team fight. So once it gets to half, I'm starting to think I need to like regenerate some of my bar right now. And this is where the healing orb comes in again. So you can use the healing orb to cover yourself while you're recovering some of your resource. Because if we're in light, we're like over here, where we are right now. We can like bounce our orb off this wall, for example, and it's gonna bounce back off this wall again, and it's gonna come back over here. It's gonna like do 2 passes for our team. And while the orb's doing that, I can be just trying to sip the enemy team, right? You don't need to do that. Like, that's like if your teammates are actually taking damage, which they aren't really right now. You can use the healing orb to cover for your spray instead while you're recovering your resource off the enemy team. If your team's not taking any damage, you don't need to use the healing orb, but like in this kind of situation, you can use the healing orb to cover your team while you're recovering the resource. So anyway, we're going to use Coalescence now. Team fight starting, that's fair enough. We got Torbjorn over there, up to no goods. There wasn't really a much better angle we could get out of that one on the team fight. So like, as I'm watching that, I'm just like, is there somewhere we could be standing where we're doing the same thing, but be getting more people with it? Let me show you an example, or like draw you an example. No, I'll do that after this, because I can go to the map and show you the example instead, rather than fucking explaining it abstractly. I have a clear example in my head I want to show you as like how to get more value out of Coalescence through like positioning, but like we'll come to that later. So we are still pretty low on resource. It's not worth complaining about. They're fucking dead. They are fucking dead. They are. It's fine. You know, we still got plenty of time to try again. So, hopefully our team doesn't just, like, go out there again before our team's regrouped. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've been watching our team during this, and I'm like, our team could be helping us out a little bit more on this one. Like, that first point, like, it kept happening where, like, 2 people were going one way and 2 people were going the other way, and people were getting picked off all the time. The team's very spread out. Like, our team's not exactly helping us in this game so far. You know, they could be making this easier for us. I respect this. I absolutely respect that. We saw that their Ana was low, and we went for her. Playing support, if you see I don't care what support you're playing. If you're playing Mercy and you see an opportunity that you're pretty sure you can kill someone, especially someone as important as the enemy team's Ana, fucking do it, brother. Fucking go for it. I respect that. I fully endorse that kind of activity. So we are very low right now. We could have been healing more D.Va while that was happening. I confess to doing that, where, like, I'm so busy thinking I want to throw this orb as quickly as possible when the cooldown comes up, that I just kind of, like, stop healing people next to me. But that is a bad habit. We could have been healing D.Va while we were waiting right there. Also, if you're healing somebody and you want to, like, throw the healing orb as quickly as possible, if you're already using the healing spray, I keep doing the fucking Spider-Man thing with my hands. If you're already using the healing spray and then you push the orb, you're just going to throw the healing orb immediately as well. So there's, like, no reason not to, strictly speaking. Everything was quite scary during this. I'm honestly not bothered with using Coalescence like this either, to be honest with you. Because this fight does still look tenable. I would have thrown a healing orb right there. There we go. That's the issue. There was something. I would have thrown the healing orb right there because we were like 100-ish health at the time. That's very low. That's where you throw the healing orb. And again, you try to throw it at the wall, so it does like 2 passes through your team at least. You know, well, the first pass is when you throw it. That's how and then it does the second pass when it comes back again. It doesn't like bounce through your team usually. You're only usually going to get the bounce. You know, you're not going to usually get more than that unless, like, sometimes you do. Pretty unlikely, though. Moira was, like, really low in front of us, and we didn't heal her right there. I think we were getting him. So I do wish that Moira's healing spray gave a little bit more feedback on if you were actually hitting somebody. I'm pretty sure we were hitting that guy. It's always hard, like, when they're, like, at the extreme edge of the range. I find we, like, don't want to be in this room. We just, like, don't want to be in here. How did this happen? We were trying to get to Reinhardt. Just, like, bail on it at that point. Torbjorn's, like, scary, you know? I don't want to do, like, that kind of fade up to get to somebody. Because, again, if I am getting close to the bad situation right there. Like, as soon as he's dead, though, just bail. Just start backing up at that point. Like, throw the healing orb with you if you're afraid they're, like, gonna chase after you. You know, you can run with the healing orb, and that often gets you out as well. I heard the Junkrat, and I was really concerned, but it's our Junkrat. So there was no reason for me to be concerned. We didn't have Fade, so we couldn't have dodged it. I'm really surprised that Deadeye didn't get us. I heard Deadeye, and that scared me. So we're gonna use Coalescence. This is like the last fight, so you use them where you got them, right? That's pretty good. We're trying to get the baby diva at the same time. While we're using Coalescence, or like position a little bit. Yep, she's good. She's good. Alright, baby diva's low again. Heal the baby diva. Wait, is she actually full health still? Oh, she is actually healed. Lucio's getting her. Never mind. Disregard. I thought that she was low still, but no, she got healed. So, alright, now, last fight again. He just used Earth Shatter, we don't have to be concerned. I respect that, but McCree is scary to go after. That actually, we messed up the geometry on the orb a little bit. If that went in the room with him, we would have probably got him. So we actually, the math didn't quite check out, but I do respect the attempt still. It's not our lava. Backing up a little bit. So yeah, he is going for that room. We didn't throw it at the room. We just like threw it directly at him. He was going for the room. If that goes in this room with him, we get this guy. We get this guy good, and I respect that. I respect going for the guy when you got the chance. But we didn't like predict his path enough. So we faded out. That's all good. Yeah, we end up in like an unfortunate position right there. Well, I didn't see the way out of that one, to be honest, but we'll go one more time. This is all very scary. We didn't really need to fade out from there, to be honest with you, we didn't need to fade away from that doorway. Because nothing was actually happening to us over here. Because once we get over there, that's where it turns scary. Because, like, McCree over here, he doesn't have Flashbang anymore. So he can't actually get us, right? Like, he could, but he probably won't. Like, McCree is behind us right there, but I'm not scared of him anymore. Because he used Flashbang and he was half health. So, that's what if we didn't fade here, this would actually be fine. Because it's being over here that puts us in this bad position. Over in that doorway was actually fine. Like, we could turn around. Like, after Reinhardt died, we tried to heal him. He's dead. After that's happened, we could honestly just turn back around, finish off the half-health McCree, because nobody's in there with him. Nobody healed him. Finish off the half-health McCree, and then that doorway is completely safe at that point. Like, McCree's not scary to me once he's used Flashbang, because at that point, like, you just duel the guy as Moira. Right? Like, he could kill you, but, like, let's be realistic. McCree players are not that good, usually, right? They're not usually that good. So, give me a minute. I'm gonna go to a map, and I'm gonna show you an example of, like, positioning stuff for Coalescence, seeing as that was in the email, you know. Give me a second. Alright, so, now, imagine with me, we have teammates, okay? I know this is a tall ask, but we are imagining we have teammates. So, we're fighting down here. Things are going, you know, we're fighting. We use Coalescence. I've turned the infinite ultimate on, and Moira's arm, it doesn't seem to agree with the infinite ultimate generation very much, does it? There's something about that just doesn't quite seem right, but that's okay. So, imagine we're fighting with our team here, and they start pushing around the corner. They start, like, fighting in this area, pushing a little bit around the corner, right? What most people do in this kind of situation is hover back here, like, maybe hitting their Reinhardt with it, and, like, that's kind of it. But if you, like, swing around here, hey, you know, sometimes you get a little close to them. But if you swing around here, suddenly you're hitting the whole team both ways instead, right? Whereas most people just kind of hover around this area. And they hit a couple people on the enemy team and, like, the people on your team that are, like, pushing up and brawling. But swing around, you'll hit, like, the entire enemy team with it. And you just increase how many people you're hitting with it. That's the kind of thing you're looking to do with Coalescence. You're trying to find the position in the team fight that is that will be hitting the most people on your team and the enemy team. Because ideally we're hitting 11 people with it. And that's like kind of it efficiency-wise. Like that's the best I can give you for like Coalescence, because like let's be honest, Coalescence is not really a fantastic ultimate, right? The cool thing about Coalescence is just that it charges very quickly. So execution-wise, the only real thing is like paying attention so that you can see if somebody in the back line is like low health, so you can kind of like focus on them a little bit more and try to kill them with Coalescence because they can't hide behind a shield or anything. Sometimes you can do that, but like getting value out of Coalescence, you're just trying to hit as many people with it as you can, so it's about positioning in the fight to try and get as many people as you can. And like, don't be afraid to use it before a team fight actually starts. I do this very frequently if I'm playing Moira, where I'll use it just to try and get my team to actually fucking walk forward. And like, that's fine. Like, you're still going to be hitting a lot of people with it, you know, that's still the thing we're going for. And when you use your ultimate, people are usually like, I should try and push in now, you know, I should try and actually get going, so I'll use it when we're, like, in the choke point. I'm still hitting, like, all of my team and the enemy team with it, and hopefully my team actually fucking goes forward, you know. They don't always. Frequently, they don't. We've all played that game on Hanamura, but that's the idea anyway. Like, Coalescence isn't, like, a fantastic ultimate, so you're really just trying to use it as quickly as possible so you can start building the next one as quickly as possible. Because that's the thing it has going for it, is that it generates extremely quickly. And you only benefit from an ultimate generating really quickly if you use it really quickly as well, so that you can start working towards the next one as fast as possible. So, there you go. I don't think there was anything else in the email specifically. Do you think there was anything I could have done differently? Yeah, to be honest with you, like, that game, our team wasn't being particularly helpful to us, you know. It's possible to make no mistakes and still lose. I feel like that was probably going to be that game. You know, we didn't play perfectly. Never will, you know, such is life. But I feel like that game probably went roughly the same way regardless. But yeah, so there you go. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. More than happy to answer. If you felt I answered your question from the email inadequately, please let me know and I will try to expand further. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us. I've started streaming on Twitch Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, 8 p.m. EST till 11 EST. There's a link to the channel in the description, and if you managed to make it all the way through the video and somehow still enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe for more content of middling quality in the future, and I hope you found the video helpful.